I'm a 28-year-old woman, and I've been with my boyfriend, who's 30, for nearly 8 years. We moved in together about 4 years ago, and over time we built a life full of memories, vacations, shared friend groups, pets. Everyone always assumed we'd eventually get married whenever we decided to. We just seemed solid from the outside. But over the past year, things shifted. I started something with my boss, who's 45. It wasn't some big, calculated plan. It just happened. I'm not going to beat myself up endlessly over it, but I know it was reckless. It began innocently enough. He would text me after work about projects and deadlines. Then his messages started drifting into jokes, memes, casual conversations. He would keep me late under the excuse of finishing work, but he'd show up in the office just to chat, standing awkwardly before leaving without much said. It all felt strangely exciting, almost like the beginning of a romance. Eventually, after a company dinner, he asked me out. I said yes without thinking too hard about it. That was the start. He's married, has 2 kids, and has been with his wife since their college years. On the outside, they looked like the perfect, lasting couple, but when he talked about it, you could tell the love was long gone. He told me they often sleep in separate rooms, and I believe him. A part of me still does. Our relationship has been both the best and worst thing to happen to me. The excitement, the way he makes me feel seen and important, it's intoxicating. People at work joke about us, call me his office wife, and while I laugh along, inside it feeds a part of me that's been starving. It feels good to be the center of someone's attention, to feel desired, to have deep, meaningful conversations that I haven't had in a long time. He tells me I'm brilliant, that he wishes he'd met me before his life got so tangled. I soak it up, even when I know better. Meanwhile, my relationship with my boyfriend has gone stale. We live like roommates, working, eating dinner, watching TV, barely touching anymore. I love him. But it's not the same, and it took meeting someone else for me to really see how far apart we've grown. The physical side with my boss is unbelievable, almost like he knows exactly what I want without me saying a word. It's rough, passionate, urgent. Sometimes it happens in his office. Sometimes in hotels we sneak away to, like the time we went to a music festival weekend, but never even made it to the festival. I had planned a trip around a tough week for my boyfriend, making sure he couldn't join. I lied, say it was for work. He was upset, but didn't push. Lately, though, my boyfriend has been different, suspicious. He asks a lot more questions about where I am and who I'm with. I can feel the shift, the tension. It's exhausting, living under the weight of all of it. And the truth is, I'm torn. Part of me believes I love my boss, dreams about leaving and starting fresh. But then reality hits. He's still married. He talked about leaving, but there's always a reason to wait. A project to finish, a school event for the kids. And in the meantime, I'm stuck in this half-life, risking everything while he still sleeps beside his wife every night. Sometimes I hate myself for wanting it all, for being too selfish to let either of them go. 2 nights ago, everything came crashing down. I'd gone out for dinner with my girlfriends. Nothing shady, no secret meetings with my boss. When I got back, my phone was full of missed calls and panicked texts from my best friend. She told me my boyfriend had come to her place, dumped all my things outside, and driven away without a word. He didn't knock, didn't say anything, just left my belongings in garbage bags and a suitcase on her doorstep. She watched him through the window and tried to call him, but he ignored her. I called him immediately, but he wouldn't answer. I texted, still nothing. I drove straight to our apartment, only to find the locks had been changed. I stood there for what felt like forever, trying to process it. My best friend let me stay in her spare room, and that's where I am now. It's cramped and awkward, and everything feels wrong. I don't even know what to do next. She's living in a cramped 2-bedroom now, the second room doubling as an office. There's only a worn-out couch to sleep on, and everything about it feels wrong. Deep down, she knows he must have found something he was never meant to see. She's furious with herself for being careless enough to give him the chance. Meanwhile, her boss has been nothing but supportive. The moment she told him what happened, he texted back, telling her she didn't deserve to be thrown out like that. He even offered her a place to stay if she needed it. She's meeting him tonight because she craves comfort, someone who will hold her gently after being tossed aside so brutally. Despite it all, part of her still clings to hope. She wishes there was a way to fix things with her boyfriend, but she's lost on where to even begin. Money is now another looming problem. She's been hunting for studio apartments, but even the cheapest ones stretch her budget thin. She'd managed to save her share of rent when things were still good, but she'll have to sell her car and downgrade to something smaller and cheaper if she wants to make it on her own. The loss hits her in waves. It feels like she's been ripped out of adulthood and hurled back to being 21 and broke, starting over from scratch. Today was the final blow. After days of silence, her boyfriend finally sent a text. Just one line. There's nothing left to fix. While she was out to dinner the other night, he had gone through her laptop. He cracked her hidden album using the same password she foolishly used for everything. There, tucked away, was a photo she thought was long gone, her in a hotel bed, barely dressed, smiling at the camera with her boss lying behind her, holding her. She hadn't even realized it was backed up. She thought she had erased every trace. She stared at the message, paralyzed for 10 minutes. Then she texted back, begging him to meet, to talk, to at least give her a chance to explain. There was no reply. Nothing. He didn't scream, didn't curse her out. He just cut her out like she never mattered. Now he's blocked her everywhere. Her number, social media, everything. He even told mutual friends not to tell him if they see her around. It's done. He's already rewriting their story to everyone else. And she's helpless to defend herself. She misses him. Not just as a lover, but as her closest friend. She misses the little routines, the way he'd make her coffee on Sundays, the way he'd sing badly in the car, the silly small things that made a life together. The grief feels physical, like something has been amputated. Last night, she met with her boss. They talked about what came next. She tried to broach the subject carefully, but he got uneasy. He told her he loved what they had, but he didn't want to destroy his kids' lives. He needed more time. She wanted to shout, to tell him not to string her along, but she smiled instead and said she understood. She knows if she pushes too hard, he'll vanish too. She can already sense it. There are plenty of women at work who would jump at the chance to take her place. She's not naive about that. She doesn't want to face another rejection so soon after losing everything else. He's leaving for a conference in Miami next week, and he asked her to come. She agreed. She's not even sure what she's hoping will happen. Maybe she's still clinging to the fantasy that if they get away from everything, he'll realize how much she means to him. Maybe she's just lying to herself. She's still crashing at her friend's apartment, but it's clear she can't stay much longer. Her friend's being kind about it, but it's not a real solution. Yesterday, she toured a tiny studio apartment. It was grimy, smelled of mildew, and made her heart sink. Still, she filled out the application, knowing it was all she could afford. Everything collapsed so fast. A year ago, her life had been full of excitement and hope. Now she's lost her home, her partner, her security. Looking back, it doesn't feel worth it. For the first time, she feels real, soul-deep regret. She knows she could have stopped this from spiraling, but she didn't. And now, she's living out of bags, waiting for messages from a man who still has a family to go home to, while she has no real home at all. It's not worth it. It never was.